every year for years, we would drive down for the Daytona 500 for CBS, because Brock at that point was part of the crew, the on-camera team, to talk, about the race and interview the drivers and whatever. And that would be Ken Squire, David Hobbs, Brock Yates, Ned Jarrett on most of the occasions, and some fillers, Mike Joy, and there'd be some people changes, but those were the core team, and we became a family. And the crew became our family. We would eat together and freeze together because Daytona is not a winter resort. It can be very cold and damp and whatever. So we were, but we'd all go and we loved it. It was just a very, very nice atmosphere. And everybody did work so hard and they were so professional. So this one year, Daytona and the Civic Fathers decided that they were going to do a lovely luncheon for the CBS talent and directors and some local hoi polloi and so on. But we were living in Western New York at the time, up near Rochester, and we drive with the kids, and we would take our leisurely schedule, and we would stop and see people. We'd see Humpy Wheeler at Charlotte and Max Mullman and some other people in Charlotte. So we would wend our way down for the winter, get out of the cold, and see some friends. And Brock would catch up on news and so on. And it was just always a nice tour. So this winter, it must have been an awfully hard winter up north that we were aware of because we were living through it. But you get, the weather's the weather. What are you going to do about it? So it doesn't become a big conversation up north. The weather is always a big conversation, but we never thought much about, the heartache of living where the snow or the cold is. So we're going down, and every place that we would stop along the way, and there probably were maybe 6 different people and business people he'd have to meet and whatever. Of course, as we got farther south, the southern accents got really thick, and this is a long, long time ago, and Charlotte was not as developed, and nothing was as developed as it of course is now, but every place we'd stop, oh, I bet you fellas are so glad to be out of that weather. How do you do it in Buffalo? Oh my God, well, you come down for our sunshine here, and so you answer, and you're very cordial, but it did get a little tedious towards the 5th stop. Oh my God, I bet you're so glad to be down here out of that cold weather in the north and all that snow. Why would you live up there? So by the 5th time we've heard this same scene played out for our benefit, I could tell Brock is getting a little pissed. So I'm saying, this doesn't, we'll be in Daytona. This is going to be fine. It'll be over soon. And I don't have to worry about his response to where he lives. So we get ready and we go to this luncheon that the France family had put on and the local dignitaries. We weren't quite sure. It was a meet and greet, and they had a seating for luncheon. And it was just so very different. They'd never done anything big and special for us before. We get seated at an 8 top, and I'm kind of sizing up the table. And Brock was over on the other side across from me, about as far from me as you could possibly get. And I'm over here on this side. And the whole rest of the table are filled in with men. One was the mayor, one was the attorney general of something, but they were all dressed in suits and they were very dignified, whatever. And the room is filling up, and I said, oh, this doesn't bode well because I'm really far away from Brock. He's got to behave. I'm not close enough to kick him And he didn't like small talk. We get our salad, I think it was the first course, and we're eating away, and Brock's not saying much of anything. Nobody's saying much of anything, and I'm kind of sitting there getting squirmy because this doesn't bode well that there's no conversation. Then people start to go and introduce themselves around the table. And we're like 1 or 2 men away from Brock on the other side of the table. and it may have been the mayor, I don't know. And he says, well, now, where are you all from? I said, oh, well, we're from, near Buffalo, Rochester, New York, and whatever. And then as soon as I said it, I said, oh my God, I shouldn't have said it. I should have said Havana or something. And he said, oh my God, he says, I hear your weather has been terrible. And what the heck are you doing living in a place like that? With all that snow, bet you're so pleased to be down here with our sunshine and whatever. And I really didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I really didn't know how to do this. And before I could really strategize and do anything, Brock says, well, it all depends if you'd rather live in a drained swamp. And I looked at Brock. He's got this big, I couldn't kick him. And I kind of turned to the men on either side of me and said, oh, doesn't he have the funniest sense of humor? I said, he's a card, isn't he? It's really, I'm babbling away. And I really swear to you, there was not one word of communication for the rest of the meal. The whole meal was quiet, and we all parted ways at the end of the meal, never saying hello, goodbye, I hate you, or anything. I just grabbed him and I said to him, what on God's earth did you say that for? And he said, I knew it was going to blow. One more person told me that. I knew it was over. He said, where were you when I needed you? I said, I would have been at another table if I could have. So that could be another side of him. If he felt you were being facetious or you were putting on airs or you thought that you were something really special, he didn't like that. He saw through that. And he didn't hold his punches. But there was never a time, and it would surprise me a lot because he had the ability. He could be very acerbic, but he always had time to shake a hand and talk to somebody and listen to their stories. And he would listen to their stories, telling him about how they missed the times that he and they used to go to the races together. These are people he'd never met, did not know, but they would always insist that they had a relationship on some level together over the years. And we always puzzled over it, and he would just take it as it came, and he'd play into it and whatever, but he'd turn around and say, I don't have a clue who that person is. But I've heard with some other celebrities, and of bigger stature, of course, that said that they would encounter similar responses by the public. And very, very odd phenomenon. You talk about legends and how things get passed on and morphed and changed. The more people telling them, the more different they become. But we experience that all the time. But he was very patient and very, very good with people.
We're here with a very special LaFerrari, and we've got a very special deal for you, our VINwiki audience today, from Glossit. Now, last year, too many of you responded, and you broke his website and his fulfillment process, so we've had to limit this one to just 5,000 units. But if you respond now, you're going to get their $150 graphene ceramic coating along with a $50 gloss enhancer detail spray to make the application easier than ever, along with an applicator, all for just $69.99. So check them out now at the link in the description below, and for just $69.99, get the best package of products we've ever been able to offer from Glossit.